Welcome students. Today we will study about the classification of braphites as per the International Code of Botanical Nomenclature. We all know that braphites have been placed intermediate between the therophytes and pteridophytes, and they are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom. We have taken the characteristics of braphites in the previous lecture. Today we will discuss about the classification, and this ICBN mode of classification has been adopted by Takhtajan, Schuster 1953, Parihar 1965, Udar 1976. So approximately 24,000 species have been placed under 960 genera in the group Braphyta. The braphites have been divided into three basic classes: the Hepaticopsida, also known as liverworts, the Anthocerotopsida, known as hornworts, and Brapsida, commonly known as mosses. Now, what are the characteristics of each class? Class Hepaticopsida has 4 orders, 9 families, 225 genera, and 8,500 species. The plants are dorsiventrally flattened, thalloid or differentiated into axis and leaves. Leaves, if they are present, they are without midrib and are arranged in 2 or 3 rows along the axis. Sex organs develop from the superficial cells, which are situated on the dorsal side of the thallus. Sporophytes are simple, or they may be differentiated into foot and capsule or foot, seta and capsule. Archegonium or the sporogenous cells develop from endothecium zone of the sporophyte. Capsule wall is 1 to several layered thick. Stomata are not present on the capsule wall because the class Hepaticopsida is the most primitive class of the group Braphyta. The dehiscence mechanism of capsule is indefinite and irregular. The class Hepaticopsida is further divided into 3 orders. Now, class Anthocerotopsida. This class has only one order with 2 families, 6 genera, and 3001 plus minus species. The plants are dorsiventrally flattened and thalloid and are attached to the substratum by means of smooth walled rhizoids only. Thallus is homogeneous internally, that is, there is no differentiation into the photosynthetic and the storage region as found in the members of the class Hepaticopsida. Each cell of the thallus is provided with a chloroplast, a nucleus, and a pyridinoid body. Pyridinoid body consists of several granules. The sex organs are embedded in the gametophytic tissue. Archegonia develop from superficial cells and antheridia from hypodermal cells of dorsal side of the thallus. Antheridia develop in groups inside the chamber and form regular androcia. Sporophyte, which is cylindrical and linear, is differentiated into foot and capsule only. Seta is replaced by a meristematic layer of cells which continue dividing throughout the life, and therefore the capsule has an indefinite growth due to the meristematic zone found in place of seta in this group. The wall of the capsule is 4 to 6 layered thick and is provided with the stomata. The basal portion of capsule is meristematic, which is dividing continuously to add to the upper portion. The sporogenous mass develops from amphithecium and arches over the columella. Now, some of the characteristics of class Brapsida. The class Brapsida has three orders with 28 families, 660 genera, and approximately 14,504 species. The plants have well developed and differentiated plant bodies, which consist of the axis, leaves, and multicellular rhizoids, whereas the rhizoids of the Hepaticopsida and the Anthocerotopsida group are unicellular. The leaves are arranged in 3 to 8 rows on the axis. Each leaf has a midrib. The sex organs develop on apical portion of the stem. The sporophyte is differentiated into foot, seta, and capsule. The sporogenous mass or archisporium develops from the outer layer of endothecium within addition to the columella. This columella is a layer of sterile parenchymatous cells, and the very columella in the higher plants, that is from pteridophyte onwards, gets differentiated into the conducting tissues in the form of xylem and phloem. So the development or the initiation of the conducting tissues begins with the last class of the Brapsida, but the differentiation does not reach to the formation of xylem and phloem. The wall of the capsule consists of several layers of chlorophyllous cells and stomata. The peristome teeth are present in one or two rows and surround the terminal opening of the capsule. They are absent in few cases. So, this is the broad classification of the braphites. Now, we will just have a look about the orders placed within the each class. Class Hepaticopsida has 7 orders. You just note down this chart. The characteristic features of each order will be discussed later on when we deal with the genera. So, the Hepaticopsida has 7 orders, namely Tachyales, Calobriales, Jungermanniales, Metzgeriniales, Marchantiales, Spherocarpales, and Monocleales. The Anthocerotopsida has only a single order, the Anthocerotales. Brapsida has been divided into the subclass Sphagnidae, which includes a single order Sphagnales, the subclass Andreae, which includes a single order Andreales, and the subclass Boxbaumidae, which includes the order Boxbaumiales, and the fourth subclass is the Brideae, which has the Ficinaceales, Dicranials, Potiales, Grimiciales, Funerales, Sagittales, Tetraphiales, Eubarales, Isobriales, Hookeriales, Hypnobriales. So, approximately 11 orders are present with the subgroup Brideae. The last subclass is the Polytrichales, which has 2 orders, the Polytrichales and Dawsoniales. So, this is the classification of braphites, and now regarding the distribution of the group braphites. The braphites are worldwide or cosmopolitan in distribution and are practically found in all the places except the sea. They are as much at home in the most mountain forest of tropics and subtropics as in the Arctic tundra. They are the very few plants which grow in Antarctic region. Some of these delicate plants have been collected at altitudes approximately 20,000 feet above the sea level in the Himalayas. The moss Angostromia julacea has been recorded from an altitude of 19,800 feet above sea level. The great majority of the bryophytes are damp loving, essentially terrestrial plants, and their favorable habitats are shaded ground, moist rocks, bases of trees, or similar moist places. A few are true aquatic plants. Example Rixia frutans, Rixiocarpus natans, Frontinellus, and Rhylia species. Rhylia is the only bryophyte successfully adapted to complete its life cycle underwater. The aquatic habit is thought to have been acquired secondarily. Primarily, they are the terrestrial plants. A few species grow in bogs. Examples Sphagnum, Drepanocladus frutans, Calipugia fissa, etc. Some bryophytes, on the other hand, can endure drought and grow in exposed situations, such as in hills, dry heaths, Polytrichum juniperium, or on tree trunks, Hypnum cupriciforme. On old walls, Torsula muralis, and one species of moss, Torsula destitutum, has been even found in the deserts of Transcaspia. All species of Dendrosiros, a large number of Gingermanial and Maasai are epiphytes and grow on trunks and branches of trees, mainly in the tropical rain forest. Many small species are even epiphyllous and grow on the surface of fern, fronds, and other broadleaves. Example Redula, Protensa, and many species of Lagunaceae. Epiphyllous liverworts are not uncommon in parts of tropic and subtropics, but there appear to be very few truly epiphyllous mosses, such as the Grossometrium and Textithelium plenum. Most bryophytes are autotrophic, but a few or more or less are saprophytic and grow upon organic matter, especially rotten wood. Example Buxbaumia ephylla. On the other hand, Cryptothalus mirabilis, it is a saprophytic liverwort and grows in different conditions such as in coniferous woods under Hylocomium, in swampy forest and covering sphagnum in dry soil, in moist, etc. It is the only bryophyte completely devoid of chlorophyll, and it lives at the expense of its mycorrhizal fungus. So, this is the distribution and the habitat of the bryophytes, and the detailed orders will be discussed later on. So, that is all for now. Thank you.